What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So today I'm in my garage working on the YZ, still working on turning it into an Enduro beast. In this video I'm doing some basic maintenance as well as adding an upgrade to the bike. Way back last summer when I was riding, I noticed that the clutch wasn't engaging like I liked. So I decided I'm just going to throw some new plates in and change the oil. And while I'm in there, I'm going to throw a 13-ounce flywheel weight on. And then if you look back, the last video I posted was our first ride out after these mods. So if you're curious how it turned out, go ahead and check that video out if you haven't. It's well worth the watch. But once this bike's all done, I'll post a full video about what I did to it and actually if it's worth doing. So far, I'm still undecided. I do really miss my old WR250. But we'll jump into it. As always, if you have questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments section and let me know if you want to see more videos like this.
Break them all free. There we go. Oh. Yeah, those look pretty new. Okay. Well. So these actually look, oh, maybe there we go. Fiber plates look fine. I don't see any signs of wear through. However, that, if you can see that, it's kind of burnt. So that one looks fine. Another burnt. So it looks like the actual friction plates themselves got burnt up. Okay, so these are our new, they're the Pro X clutch plates going in, so I'm just going to alternate starting with that. And then here's the new clutch plates going in, nice and clean, nice and shiny. Alright, so I got it assembled, stacked in the right order, and then we will we'll throw that in to the bike real quick. Let me ziplock that, because now I have oil all over. Idiot. I never said I was professional, people. There we go. So now we'll get our springs and everything tightened down. God damn. So I ran into a problem, and I wanted to kind of tell you guys if you did this too, because I didn't even think of it. So when I put the pressure plate on and tightened the screws with the springs on, I wasn't getting any clutch engagement when I tried to use the clutch lever. But then when I took the pressure plate back off and pressed against the plunger, I could feel the resistance in the clutch lever. So what I ended up having to do was come up here and play with my clutch adjustment. And so now I actually have a good clutch engagement, and as you can see, focus, I'm getting separation on my friction plate. So if you are having problems when you're doing this, where you can't get the pressure on the pressure plate, come play with your cable. So that then leads me to think that these were the original 23-year-old clutch plates, because that thing was completely off. So we'll see. I'll put some oil in it, start it up, and then get going. But I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna put the clutch cover back on and then fill up with new oil, and then I'll do the flywheel weight, and then we'll start it up and hopefully it runs. So I figure while I'm in here, I got a new gasket. I might as well put a new gasket in there just to make sure everything's all good. I don't want to have any leaks later on. As an EMS professional, you'd think I would know how to put on gloves, but apparently not today when my hands are covered in oil. So, go ahead, take the pick, get this guy out. Doesn't look terrible, but might as well, right? So get some oil in my hands, just grease this bad boy up. Okay. Perfect. Easy as that. Go ahead and throw this bad boy in there. Get this put on. So while I did run into a hiccup getting the tension right on the springs, this is actually a fairly simple job that I think any of you guys can do yourself. It does not take long. Really basic hand tools. All you need is an 8 and a 10 millimeter socket, and then you just pull them out, put them back in. I don't have a torque wrench that does only low 7 pounds, but I just did it by feel, and it felt okay to me. Again, just gonna go every other of these bad boys and get them all put in. And then snug them down. All right, so clutch is done. I got oil plug, drain plug back in, filled up with oil. Clutch still feels really good. It's a little bit stiffer, so we'll see how that goes. But now it's time to move on to the flywheel weight. The flywheel weight's super easy. I did it on my old YZ250 way back in the day. Really enjoyed how it made the bike ride, so I'm hoping I get kind of the same effects on here. From what I've been reading, it does do a good job, so we'll get started on that. But so far, everything's going pretty well. Had the little hiccup with the clutch cable, but got it figured out. And yeah, I think we're good. So we're gonna start doing the flywheel weight, get that figured out, get that done, and then we're gonna hopefully be able to start her up. So this is the engine lockup tool that Tuss sells. This will screw in right here into your spark plug hole, and then this is a nice polymer plastic tip that'll sit against the piston before it hits all the way to the top, so then that way you can torque down your flywheel. So this just should screw in super easy. Get you guys set up here. Drop that down in there and twist it right in. I'm pushing down on the Kickstarter. It doesn't want to go up anymore, so we are good and locked in. I watched a flywheel weight install, and this guy opened it up and it was super corroded in here, so let's see. Look. Oh yeah, oh, we've already had a flywheel weight on here. That's a small one, but there is one on here. Interesting. Things you never learn from previous owners. So I'm gonna take it off because that looks like it's probably only an 8 ounce, and I'm gonna put a 13 on because I like to be a tractor. All right, well, we'll get this thing off here and take a look and see if we can find any marks on it, if it's an 8 or an 11, because those are the only other two it could be. They sell 8, 11, and 13. So let's see. I do not see any marks. Looks like the branding was all worn down. Nothing in there either, so this is it compared to the 13. Much smaller and much thinner. So I'm gonna go with it's probably an 8 ounce. Either way, this will be a nice upgrade from that. So one more thing before we put this guy on, I just thought of that I wanted to remind you guys. Usually there's a washer that sits right in this groove in here. This one doesn't because there was already a flywheel weight on it. But you need to remove that washer or else it's gonna rub on the ignition cover. So make sure before you slap it on, come in here with some picks or a magnet and get this washer out, or else it's not gonna sit flush and it'll rub the cover and it'll melt it. So remove those washers, people. Nice and snug. Let's get it topped up. All right, we're up against the lockout tool, and we'll torque it down. So one thing that I have seen people say is that, as you can see here, it doesn't interfere with it, but that comes awfully close to hitting your clutch actuator. So I'm actually gonna bend this bar out. That's kind of what everybody's been doing that I've seen. So I'll just kind of grab it. And now it doesn't, yep. So we're all good. Don't need to bend it super far, just enough to keep it from interfering. And as you can see, still a nice straight line, so we're not going to wear that down anymore. Pull the clutch. So if we pull the clutch, clears it nice. And spinning it, we don't have any connections. So per the instructions, you want to tighten this down to whatever the flywheel weight or the flywheel nut is in your owner's manual. Looked it up on mine for the 2000 YZ, and it's 35 foot-pounds. So that's installed. We'll go ahead and put our new cover on, and then the new gasket on, then the cover. With these, there's meant to be some drainage holes in case you do get water, they'll drain out. So that's something to keep in mind when you're doing this. So here's what I'm talking about, how there's that gap there. That's just so everything can drain out and not get corroded and nasty. So don't use RTV as a gasket maker, because you will fuck up. It would help if I was going the right way. Let's start like this. Let's get her started. Go through all the rest of them. All right, so the bike's pretty much back together. Just got the little skid plate on, but I can do that after. I just want to see if this thing starts and it runs and I can shift through the gears and it is good to go. So I'll set you guys up and I'll try to give it a couple kicks and hopefully she starts up.
So after I got the bike started, when I kicked it into gear, the bike would just immediately die. So I had to continue to play with the cable adjustments just to get that engagement point correct. It took a few minutes and a few test runs, but now the clutch feels, spot on where it's engaging and works just like I expect it to. that's it for today. I'm all done working on the bike. We got the clutch all done, which I highly recommend you doing at home. Super, super easy. It's just an oil change with a couple extra steps. Flywheel weight, also they're super easy, awesome upgrade that I think you guys will all enjoy if you do any trail riding or enduro, anything like that. Also got the oil changed, put a new air filter in. I think that's about it. This bike is ready to rip for this summer. Hopefully we're supposed to start getting some better weather. I live up in Nevada and it's been absolutely terrible this winter. We're still getting snow and rain every day. Luckily we got some nice sun today. Hopefully we can dry the tracks out and the trails and we can actually go out and go ride tomorrow. Hoping that'll be something I can get on the agenda for tomorrow with a buddy of mine. But bike is running flawless, took it up around the block. Clutch is super nice. I no longer have any jerking when I click into gear, anything like that. So super easy projects, highly recommend you do your own clutch if you're needing to do it. Don't take it to a shop and get charged at the ass for it. Super easy, even replacing the clutch basket is easy. Flywheel weight, huge upgrade, super simple to do as long as you have the right tools. Really recommend getting that Tusk piston stopper. I don't know what else to call it. But I did it once before on the YZ without it. I think I did the rope trick. I can't remember. And it was a little bit more difficult, but you know, right tools make the job go super easy. Really, really happy with how the bike came out and how it's running. I think we're gonna have a really fun summer and fall this year with it. Hopefully next winter isn't as bad as this one we can keep riding. Usually we can ride through the year, but this year not so much. Biggest things that I wasn't expecting when working today was the clutch engagement. Getting the plates and stuff in is super easy, but then having to figure out where to adjust the lever or the cable to where it's actually grabbing and all that. That took a little bit of time to get it right, so that way I'm not running the clutch and burning it up just when it's idling. And I think that is it. It's been a good day. I really have enjoyed working on this bike. This bike is super easy to work on. I highly recommend getting some old cheap bikes and working on them, building them up. This thing is awesome. It's a 2000, it's 23 years old, but still rides great, you know. Keep the top ends up, do the bottom end if you need it. General maintenance and a couple mods, and these things are trail machines still. I mean, granted I haven't ridden anything newer than 2006 or 7, but these old bikes are great. Highly recommend if you're new into the sport or if you just want to get something to mess around on. So with that, I'll end it here. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it or you found some value out of this video. I always appreciate the support, so leave a like and a comment. And I guess I'll see you next time.